start? Isaac? Okay, we ready to start. Good evening, everyone. I would like to call our regular board meeting to order with the Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency. The time is now 5:03. We're located in the village of Broadview at 2350 South 25th Avenue. Celeste, can we get a roll call, please?
Sure. Mayor Thompson?
Here.
Mayor Stecker?
Present.
Ms. Senior?
Here.
Mr. Nosek?
Here.
Ms. Jones?
Here.
And Kathy Caraco is absent. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before we move to public comment, just can we take a moment of silence for those in the Ukraine? Thank you. We're in some troubled times. Yeah, we got to keep people in our prayers. Any public comment? I don't see any public, so no comment. Next on the agenda is presentation of the minutes from January 27, 2022. Anyone have any questions regarding the minutes? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next is the monthly financial report for January.
I'm sorry, we need a motion in a second.
Oh, I didn't do that.
No, you just said
Can
all.
I get a motion? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We must be ready to go real quick.
Speed dial.
Next, I apologize, monthly financial report for January 22 and monthly financial report for February 22.
Motion. Second.
Good evening. Hope all
Good
is doing
evening.
well in this weather. Apologize for my tardiness. There was an accident. So I'm just going to report out on for the period ended January 31st, 2022. At the end of January, we had just over $5 million in the bank, with a majority of it being held in Illinois funds. As far as operations are concerned, as of that date, the agency is operating at a surplus of about $2 million, primarily because we have debt service payments that are not finalized yet for the year, and we had budgeted for some construction projects that obviously are not have not been started yet. For the period ending, we were at a $78,000 surplus, even though we budgeted for $2 million for the whole year. The $78,000 is because of the fact that we have a bond payment that is still yet to be paid. As far as other forgive me. As far as other items that are being handled with the finances, I'm going to make sure we work with Wesley on the budget for next year and prepare that budget for the next meeting. The only other thing is I'm asking for the board's permission to move forward and get Sawyer Faldudo set up for investments. We were working to get that done before the former mayor of Westchester got sick, so I'd like permission to go and move forward with that. Okay, I'll reach out to I don't know if you're acting or
No,
the
he's
person who is
he's not acting, he is the mayor.
Village manager for Westchester. I'll work with him to get his information so I can get that over to Sawyer Faldudo so that we can move the money out of Illinois funds. Okay. I mean, realistically, right now, the investments that are out there are not, there's not a lot of opportunity out there that's much more than Illinois funds, but we should be prudent with our money. Illinois funds is at about 0.03, I think, right now, and there are some CDs that are up at 0.1. So I was just talking to a bank yesterday about this. 20 years ago, we were arguing over 7% for 6 months. Now we're arguing over 0.7% or 0.07%. So that's where we're at operationally wise, financially.
Well, thank you. I need a motion in a second.
Second.
Any comments or questions for Kelly? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, old business, status report on the expansion of the agency water reservoir capacity at 10th Avenue Pump Station site and 1 million gallon water reservoir project financing from water revenue bonds and refunding of IEPA loan. Mike?
At the last meeting, the engineer indicated that, we were working on fine tuning the bid with the low bidder, and so that's in process. But the other thing is, our financial folks, the bond counsel and the underwriters, need final financial numbers from both Westchester and Broadview, and so they're waiting on that information in order to get an information packet to the bond counsel and the underwriters so they can actually get the bond process finalized. Without the bonds, we can't finance the project. So if we could get on that in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, in the next couple of months, we'd be able to bring that bond closing to to an end, fund the dollars necessary to build the project, and then Jim will be able to bring forward the low bid contract that we would go with.
Who's asking for the financials?
Daryl Davidson is our bond counsel, and the name is escaping me.
It's actually S&P won't let us do a rating call without the financials from the respective villages. They feel that it's not prudent to not take that into consideration in relation to the bond rating.
Yeah, no, I just didn't get an email from anybody, so I didn't realize anyone was asking for them. We don't have our audited for 4/30/21, so.
I would, yeah, that's what it is.
Right.
So, do they need the audited for 4/30/21
No, they need,
It's,
or interim?
I think it's Broadview that they're waiting on.
Okay.
I'll have Daryl Davidson,
Yeah.
the bond counsel, email,
Yeah,
I
just don't
the
recall.
mayors and
Just
the
wanna make sure
managers and
they get what they need.
yeah, whatever he needs to take care of, the underwriting and the S&P, then that's what they need.
Okay.
And if we could get that kind of put together in the next couple of weeks, if that's possible, that'll help move things along.
Okay, so if, for Broadview, if we could just get the email on what it is that they need from us. I know,
Send that out tomorrow.
okay, thanks. Next, under old, yes, sir. Sure.
So, at the last meeting, we talked about the possibility of changing the height of the tank to save some money. So, I've got pictures here. It's going to be hard to tell. Not a great difference, but there is a difference. Just kind of give you perspective here for everybody to look at.
This one is the old one.
If you look at the house, you can see the one
Yeah,
that
the
gets you
White
less of the
House.
house.
Yeah.
Did I make sure I got it to you the right way?
I think I got the same.
Yeah, they look like the same.
So this one, I'm guessing is the first rendition, and then, you got the same.
Yeah, they the same.
I deeply apologize.
Here,
It's like I printed the
this-
same
Yeah.
one.
This one,
Okay.
this one.
You have the two
Yeah, no,
differences?
this makes sense.
Okay. It's the biggest thing, to show the difference between the
Yeah.
flat and doing that change in elevation to the higher tank, and some other changes to the fencing and a few other minor things would save about $140,000. So if that's, something that the village is okay with, and then we can at least pursue that to get ready. We're also getting up against getting this project constructed in this season because of their crews and everything. And so the sooner we get the financing going, we can see, if we get too far in, they may not commit to this year, and we may end up rebidding it,
Okay.
depending on where we're at.
So, just so I'm clear, so this is 140,000 more. If we go with this, it's 140,000 less.
Correct, the taller one is cheaper.
So because it impacts Broadview and it's 140,000 more, I would prefer to go with this because it should be where you'd be able to see. And
Okay.
it's blocking people view.
Okay.
So, I mean, and if I lived over there, I wouldn't like it.
And the 140 is not just the tank. There's some other, there will be some savings even. It's not
Okay.
the total.
So I would prefer this
The
one.
lower profile.
The lower profile.
Okay.
What is actually the height difference?
It's about 4 feet.
4 feet? And what is the total height, I guess, off the ground?
It's about between like 14 feet and 18 feet.
14 feet and 18 feet? So about one and a half stories?
Roughly.
say? Okay.
Close to 2, yeah.
And,
There will be dirt, I mean, around the other sides, there'll be mounded up dirt on 3/4 of the side, but the 10th Avenue side, which that perspective is from, is where the ground will be kind of back down closer to street level because of the overflow for the reservoir.
and, I'm sorry, Mayor, so you're interested in the lower profile one then?
Yes.
For the additional 140,000?
That's how it was bid at, the lower profile.
That's lower profile.
The higher one, which would allow them to do it as a precast instead of poured in place,
Okay.
could save 140,000, 100 and some thousand along with the fencing. The fencing we can change with either option, it's just,
And what's the fencing gonna,
there's a decorative, like wrought iron fencing now, we would reuse as much as possible, and then the idea would be on the 11th Avenue side, which is further set back from the homes, to go to more of a traditional type fence.
okay. I guess I'm just trying to think, I know you said about black, but what exactly sight lines are,
So
would this
when-
really be
so-
impacted?
So I would encourage you to go over there.
Yeah.
So that you could physically see it.
Mhm.
Because when you, so like if you on 10th and 11th, and you look around this perimeter, it was open space. So we losing some green space. And so when we had the town hall meeting, that came up, you know, green space being lost. And because we are in Broadview, we want to retain as much green space as possible. So if you look at the height, even though it's going up,
Yeah, it's going vertical.
it's going up, it's still an impact to those that live on this side of.
From seeing the sight line of the green space.
Right,
on
so
the
I
other
would just
side.
encourage you to go over there
Yeah,
to see it visually. I live here, and so I'm gonna always advocate for what's best for the residents that live in Broadview. And if it was in Westchester, I would comply with whatever the wishes were for the mayor in Westchester, because you all are there.
Yeah, no, I understand. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there was actually like something, or if it's just the issue of the green
No,
space that is.
what is the green space and the fencing and all of those things that we have to consider? I don't know if you had time to watch the town hall meeting that we had as it relates to it. So go to the website and watch the town hall meeting.
Okay.
So that you can see the complete presentation of what's being asked of us.
Do you recall when that was? Just-
It's on the website. It's the only town hall that
Oh,
we've held.
okay,
So
perfect.
it's easy to find.
Yeah, it'll be pretty easy. Okay, okay. I just didn't know if I was gonna be clicking on.
No, Mayor,
Okay,
no.
okay. All right, no problem.
Okay.
All right.
Regarding this project, for the new mayor's benefit too, Westchester and Broadview, that whole kind of lot where the pump station is, all the way south, east and west, big triangle lot, it was a mishmash of Westchester owned some property, Broadview owned some property, there were cross easements, there were a lot of old restrictions on title that, for instance, impacted the ability for us to build a new water tank here.
Mhm.
I cleaned all of that up, and as of today, we have recorded deeds that needed to be recorded and a new set of restrictive covenants that allow us to build this new tank and to properly have security fencing around it, and also the agency is going to, there's a park on the south end. It's going to be a smaller park. It's going to be kind of a more active, passive recreational park, not a ball field. There's also going to be a walking trail around the whole perimeter of this lot, the larger rectangular lot. All that paperwork got recorded with Cook County. All of it came back to me today. So I'll be shooting out tomorrow by email an electronic copy of all the documents that got filed. Both Westchester set and Broadview set are going to go to both parties, and then also to the agency for record keeping.
Okay.
That all got done, so in terms of land ownership, now the agency
Agency owns it.
owns all of that lot, from stem to stern. And, you know, what the two villages have now are access easements to maintain their water infrastructure on that property. Should this agency ever dissolve, both towns will be able to continue to run its water through that lot for water transmission purposes. Don't anticipate it dissolving, but This was a cleanup that was long overdue, and
Long
just so you know, it got done.
Okay,
And
great, thank you.
you'll see the paperwork tomorrow. If you have questions, we can talk about it in a month.
Thank you,
Great,
Mike.
Thanks, Mike. And just, sorry, just with the precast, is this add any, I guess, time to the project if it's not going to be the precast?
It's a little bit, yeah, longer time if it's not precast.
Okay, it just, an idea of.
Yeah, I think they said 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
It's not massive.
Okay, all right.
It just changes where the time just gets moved up into the pre-construction stage where they'll take longer to make them as opposed to doing the excavation and spending that time during the actual construction.
Okay. All right.
I just had a question.
Sure.
So, if we couldn't get the bonds issued, I mean, how long do you think it would take for the bonds? 90 to 120 days at most?
I mean, we're looking at probably, as we sit here today, 90 to 120 days to get
Okay.
to bond issuance and then
Issuance.
closing. I mean, that's the time, so we are pushing up against the construction schedule.
So do you think we could float any of that early construction money out of the money that we have on hand?
Well, half of the project is coming from cash on hand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
So half of the money is coming from our cash, because we were only financing 50%, 2 million of the project.
right.
Mhm.
Did the bid come in at 4 million that we estimated?
Slightly, well, depending if you count engineering. The bid came in about a little bit of about $400,000 ahead, over the estimate of 3.5 for construction. With these changes, then it'll be slightly over the 4 million.
And how long of a project timeline is it?
It's I believe they said 6 to 8 months, so.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we could get going, but you're running the risk of, for whatever reason, the bond market getting crazy and the bonds not being issued, and you're 2 million short, roughly 2 million short. Would we have cash on hand to cover it?
Again, we have a cash on hand, but it would eat up all of our reserves. It's
Right.
not an ideal situation.
Agreed.
Pardon?
Agreed, especially if we're gonna get a bond. You know, the most important thing is honestly getting a bond rating.
Right.
Which, once
Right.
you do this project, that gives this agency just supreme flexibility to do something
Something,
more,
right.
Right,
you know,
right.
so.
We
Okay.
understand the assignment.
And it's not easy getting your first bond rating.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Okay, next is status report on purchase of 1014 to 1020 West Roosevelt Road properties, Broadview, Illinois, by Housing Forward.
We're still in the due diligence
Okay.
process. That was extended for another few months, so I would report back here in a couple months on that. I'm just leaving it on the agenda as a reminder.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Next is new business, consideration and approval of finance report as of January 31st, 2022, and check detail report for a period January 28th, 2022 to February 22nd, 2022, in the amount of $564,956.91. The agency check numbers are 16406 through 16426. Can I get a motion and a second?
So,
1 second. The numbers look different on the report.
Yeah, my total billing, because he added 4 bills on Saturday.
5 checks.
Yeah, you added, became 581,873.80, and check number from 16406 to 16430.
So then if that happened on Saturday and the agenda got posted on Tuesday, how come the agenda wasn't updated?
I don't do the agenda, I don't know.
Okay, so, I have concerns with that because if this happened on Saturday, the agenda should have been updated with the correct numbers.
Yeah, we actually didn't process all your checks until Sunday.
But the agenda got posted on Tuesday.
I understand that. Where did you get the numbers from?
Great.
So if it's gonna be a change between,
You sent me some bills on Tuesday morning. You sent me the Ciorba, Alert Protective, and the life insurance, and the administrative fee from Brookfield, so I didn't get some bills until Tuesday.
okay, so just can I make a recommendation, and, Mayor, you could chime in. So I would make a recommendation, if on Sunday and we are still processing bills, and on Tuesday, we have the agenda on what need to be processed, any bills that come in after the accountant has gave the numbers to the superintendent, that should be what's on the agenda. Anything after that have to wait till the following month. We don't quick pay nobody. I mean, we're not in a rush, but we have to work in transparency at all times. And it's Mayor Steger and our credentials is on this. So I need it to be as polished as possible when my name is on it. We clear? Okay, so the new numbers is $5,881,873.80. That's correct? And the check numbers is 16406, 16430? Okay, Paul, you have any questions? No. Mayor?
No.
Trustee Senior? Ms. Jones? Can we get a roll call?
We need a motion? Because I stopped you,
So moved. Motion.
because we were changing the numbers. I didn't think we got
Oh,
a
we need a
motion.
superseding motion, okay.
Second.
I'm sorry, first, Nick?
Yeah, I'll make the motion with the correction.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Mayor Stecker?
Yes.
Ms. Senior?
Yes.
Mr. Nosek?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Thank you. Next is consideration and selection of public hearing date for approval of fiscal year 2022-2023 annual budget with related transmittal memorandum dated February 21st, 2022 from Klein Thorpe and Jenkins, LTD.
I just got ahead of the game and just got the notice, the agenda, and the ordinance ready for your next budget approval. You know, do you want to have your budget hearing March 24th or April 28th? You have to approve the budget before May 1st. If the budget's going to be ready for now or in the next couple of weeks, we can get it going for March 24th. If not, we'll have to have it on April 28th. Just need to know.
So I'm proposing April 28th because I'm traveling on the 24th.
And that just puts us at the very end. So the bottom line is, you know, we gotta stick with that date or some date prior to May 1 in terms of, you know, having the meeting and getting it all approved.
Yep.
I'll update the documents and you'll see those again for your April agenda.
April 28th, what time would that be at?
5 o'clock.
Okay.
What time would you?
You know what? We, daddy-daughter dance night at 6 o'clock. If we could do 4 o'clock,
Yeah, we could do 4.
okay.
Is everybody good with 4?
Because,
We could do it in the morning.
you know what, honestly, I'm off that whole day, so if you want to do it in
So,
the morning.
Mike, can we make it at 10 o'clock in the morning on April 28th?
Your meeting,
That'd be
whatever works for you guys.
So, April 28th at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
Perfect.
I'll make
Thank
sure
you
that
very
that's
much.
Oh, no worries.
in there.
We a team. And then, know that we have to do some, so I see the public notice and those things. And so for we don't need to, you're just telling us what we need to draft an agenda for.
I've got them all drafted. I
A,
just
B,
need
and
the
C.
direction on date and now time, and I'll update these documents and we'll process with staff everything that needs to be done, and we'll just, we'll send a reminder out that, you know, we're meeting earlier that day.
Okay, so I did have one question about the memo.
Yeah.
Because you said, per the direction of the agency treasurer, Kelly, you have not prepared the ordinance approving amendments to the 2021-22 annual budget and appropriation, because we didn't have any, correct? We didn't have any amendments to the budget. Okay, and then finally, I know in here, I guess typically, the agency usually circulates the publication through the LaGrange to Shaw Media. I am making a recommendation that we change that to Village Free Press, because that's the local paper for our communities.
Is that what you guys use?
That's what we use.
Okay, I've had, okay.
Yeah, but if you look on here, I mean, it's just, the LaGrange Suburban Life do not distribute in Broadview.
It's not?
No.
Okay, all right.
I know the Village Free Press has been covering Westchester quite regularly, and I think they've actually been doing a very good job,
Okay,
so.
all right.
yeah.
All right, I will change that, we'll go with that.
Okay, thank you. So item 3. So we clear on the budget and ordinance for the hearings and all of that stuff, okay. Number 3, consideration and approval cost sharing between the agency and the Village of Broadview and the agency and the Village of Westchester of eligible travel expenses, airfare, hotel, and meals relative to attendance by the co-directors, which is Mayor Stecker and myself, at the National League of Cities Conference in Washington, D.C. on March 14th through March 16th, 2022, in accordance with the agency travel and business expense reimbursement policy. IRS Publication 1542 in the fiscal year 2022 per diem rates for District of Columbia per the U.S. General Service Administration. An expense report will be submitted for approval at the April 22 agency board meeting related to the co-directors conference related to travel expenses. I don't know if you plan on attending the conference?
I'm unable to attend.
Okay, so I am planning on to attend the conference. The total conference is $1,839.56. The cost of the conference is $495. Lodging is $1,134.56. And flight is $210. So if you divide that between the Village of Broadview and the water agency, that's $919.78. And so the reason why it's important for us to stay connected to this, because when we travel, not just for our respective villages, but for on behalf of this agency, I have already signed up for different conferences to attend that could benefit the water agency. And we should be actually advocating on funding as well as we do for our own respective villages as it relates to water infrastructure. Like this project with the reservoir, we probably could have tapped into some federal grant money to help offset some of the costs. And most certainly, I will be asking for it if it's not too late. Or, I mean, it's still a project that's still in the pipeline that we may get some consideration to get some funding. So I will be attending a couple of the, and I'm looking at my calendar now because I've already got it scheduled, because I sit on the Energy and Environmental Committee meeting for the NLC.
And Mayor, in lieu of me being able to not attend, would there be any opposition if one of the other representatives from Westchester would be able to attend, either Manager Nosek or?
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Okay.
I know the policy clearly states the co-directors, but I'm not in opposition if you're not gonna go.
Yeah,
I would highly
can't.
recommend that someone from Westchester go, because this is an opportunity to advocate for Westchester and the agency.
The National League of Cities is, I haven't been there in a couple of years, and it's outstanding. I went there with Celeste. We've gone on a couple of those, and the things that we've been able to bring back to the community have been, even just the, I think when we had the insurance for the sewer lines and all that other stuff, when we brought that back, it was just, it was some great information, some great assets, some great information we were able to bring back. So I wish I was able to go this month. I will definitely have it on my radar for next year. And I don't know his schedule, or Trustee Crocco, but since I am unable to make it, if you would not be opposed to, if we could have another representative, I think that'd be great. And then sometimes divide and conquer, there's so many different things going on at different times, and you go to one,
Right.
and you go to another.
We come back and collaborate.
Exactly.
Yep.
And we can share PDFs afterwards of all the materials.
Okay, like I said, I'm okay with that.
I don't know.
Just do a motion to approve the two co-directors or their designees,
Okay.
in approving this matter, include that language in your file.
Okay, so we need a motion to do exactly what Mike just said.
I will make the motion for the cost sharing for the co-directors or their designee to the National League of Cities from March 14th to March 16th.
And we need a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Next up is the superintendent report.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
Good. All right. As of February 18th, 2022, the water operator position was revised and reposted on Indeed and the agency website. Interviews will start once we have identified confirmed candidates for the position. The part-time assistant position has been filled, and candidate will start on Monday, March 7th, 2022. For the month of February, the agency completed a total of 17 Julie locates, along with daily maintenance. The station pumped 99,153,000 gallons of water. And that concludes my report.
Okay, I don't have any questions. Paul?
No.
Mayor? Trustee Senior? Ms. Jones? Thank you.
Thank you.
So next on the agenda is a closed meeting, and I am asking for us to go into closed session for letter D, which is the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body per 5 LCS 120/2C1. I need a motion in a second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, so we're gonna go into closed session to have that discussion.
Roll call vote?
Roll call vote.
Roll call?
Yeah.
Okay, Mayor Thompson?
Yes.
Mayor Stecker?
Yes.
Ms. Senior? Mr. Nosak?
Yes.
Ms. Jones?
Yes.
Oh, can you have them? Okay.
We already
I mean-
did.
You'd made the motion to close, so, yeah.
Just to convene and confirm you got a quorum. Do we have a recorder?
I could use my phone.
Well, we got,
Video minutes too.
Oh,
it's
already
just paused for
recording?
public, but
Perfect.
he can record.
Yeah, we, just as long as we have an audio recording.
Okay, so he's gonna record, no public.
Isaac, you recording us in closed session? Yes, ma'am. Okay, it's just not for the public, correct? Adjourn our regular Broadview Westchester Joint Water Agency.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, see you next month.
Thank you.